Good evening. Much of the North Island has now been declared an official drought zone. But for shoppers, well, you might almost say they've never had it so good. The lack of water's concentrated the taste of items like pip fruit, grapes and tomatoes, which is no comfort for farmers. A drought's now been declared from the Auckland Harbour Bridge south right through Waikato and into Hawke's Bay and Bay of Plenty. But for now, the special help that it brings doesn't include Wairarapa, Manawatu and Taranaki, though the government accepts those regions aren't much better off. In fact, the Met Service says many parts of the country have had little or no rain since early February. Federated Farmers says things are much worse than the drought of 2007 to 2008, and NIWA agrees. This time, more of the North Island is affected by the dry conditions, and that in turn makes it harder to buy and sell feed and stock from other farmers.
It is really emotionally quite hard going out and having to face it each day. How do you feed your cows? What do you do? And just trying to keep yourself busy but not actually spending money.
There is financial help available for those in extreme hardship, but Federated Farmers says that only applies to a small number of farms. All of which makes it tough to swallow the current crop of smiles at the supermarket. As Charlotte Shipman reports, you won't hear any complaints about what the drought's brought there.
Hawke's Bay apple grower Carl Ferry's looking forward to his best season in years.
In general, the fruit quality is really high, the tonnage is looking good, and we're looking forward to a cracker.
His apples are bigger, juicier and sweeter than previous seasons because of the same conditions which are plaguing pastoral farmers. The increased sunlight hours mean there's more sugar in the fruit, making it sweeter, and the hot, dry conditions mean there's less disease among crops. Ferry feels for suffering farmers, but his wish is their nightmare.
Another 2 months of a lack of rain would be fantastic for us.
Watties is also reaping the benefits of so much sunshine. Conditions in Hawke's Bay are perfect for harvesting. In the next 5 weeks, Watties will process 34,000 tonnes of tomatoes. Most of it will be made into tomato paste for tinned tomato-based products. Almost all of the fresh tomatoes we eat are grown in hothouses. Those growers too are relishing the weather. In Clevedon, where drought has been declared, boutique tomato grower Anthony Tringham's plants are laden with fruit.
We're effectively harvesting sunshine. The tar is melting outside, so when we're driving around, the truck just almost sinks into the tar, it's that hot. But the tomatoes, they're absolutely fine.
The bumper season means consumers get both quality and quantity. Fresh produce exporters, turners and growers say the only problem with such good weather is making sure the quality of the fruit stays as high as it was when it left the vine. Charlotte Shipman, 3 News.
The South Island's west coast has a reputation as one of the wettest parts of the country, but even it's feeling parched. Last month, parts of the region received less than a third of their regular rainfall. There too, farmers are running out of feed, and everyone's struggling to remember when it was last this dry. Jeff Hampton reports.
The coast is baked all summer, prompting a warning that you would never have heard from there before.
We're just looking into whether we can get declared a drought zone or not.
Yes, that's right. West Coast farmers who live in one of the wettest parts of the country are organising drought meetings.
They've already bought in a lot of feed, burnt through their winter feed. Winter crops have failed, they've been eaten by bugs or completely dried off. So yeah, it's looking pretty dire really.
Greymouth's just had one of its driest Februaries, recording just 35 millimetres of rain.
This is the driest since 1966. I was 11 years old in that year and I can remember that summer, I'll never forget it. But this time round, I think it's going to surpass that, there's no doubt about it. You can walk across most of our rivers at the moment.
That wasn't the case earlier this year when floods took out a bridge on the main highway cutting links south. Westland dairy tankers had to make a huge diversion to help farmers then. Now the company's farmers are having to deal with the opposite problem, not enough water.
It's a very stressful time for them where they're feeding out feed which is reserved for winter, having to cull stock. They're not alone, they need to talk to their neighbours, they need to talk to the rural professional network.
Others who rely on rainwater tanks are having to order in truckloads of water.
Usually a few loads every summer, but this one's just been, real busy year.
And there's 2 inches of water left in this tank.
Punakaiki motelier Cam Bates is grateful for his top-up.
Must be the driest summer that I've put in so far.
That's set to continue with no immediate forecast of significant rain for the dry old coast. Jet Hampton